I've recently just turned 40. And when you reach a milestone like this in life, it tends to make you think back, reflect about who you are and what you've done with your life. I've been asking myself questions like, what experiences taught me to be resilient? What setbacks shaped my determination for most? And what has given me the greatest sense of purpose? Well, the answer to all of my questions, and therefore what has shaped me the most as a person, is quite simply football. Now, that may seem like a crazy statement. What on earth could a round ball and 22 people kicking it about have possibly done to have had such a profound impact on my life? Well, over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to tell you. And not only that, I'm going to tell you why we all need to do more, and importantly, do things differently, so that more women and girls can equally experience the amazing benefits of football, just like I have. When I was young as I can remember, I played football. I watched football, I talked about football, I dreamt about football, just asked my parents if I could have eaten, drank, and breathed football, I would have done. And I was one of the lucky ones. I was privileged. I had parents and a brother who normalized my love of football. It didn't matter that I was a girl. When I was 9, I was finally able to play for the primary school team. I was the only girl, of course, but this didn't faze me. I was so proud to wear the shirt and to belong to something, and I was at my happiest when I was on that football pitch. And recently, my parents found an old primary school newsletter in which I was interviewed. And this revealed a few things to help answer some of those self-reflective questions I mentioned earlier. This first one revealed that I had a nickname around local Worcestershire schools of the girl who's really good. And knowing that I was good at something was a huge confidence boost, and a confidence boost that most girls never get at that age. The second question, where I was asked, how do the boys react to you playing football? Well, I revealed that I was often teased by my opponents, but that my teammates encouraged me. So from a young age, I learnt the importance of teamwork. And I also learnt to stand up to bullies and to build resilience, which has been in me since that very moment and helped shape my career to this day. And my answer to the final question, what are your ambitions in sport, told me that I dared to dream. I talk here about a professional league in Italy for women, and I dreamt of there being one in England that I could maybe one day play in. And this last one really means a lot to me, because if we fast forward to 2023, research from Women in Sport shows us that there is a significant dream deficit between boys and girls when it comes to elite sport. Only 29% of girls, compared to 52% of boys, dream of reaching the top in sport. And yet somehow in the mid-90s, I was dreaming of being a professional footballer. And that was against all odds, because when I was growing up, these two were my role models. They were who I aspired to be. But I couldn't see anybody that looked like me that was doing what I dreamed of. That's quite impactful, isn't it? Visibility matters. When I finished primary school, I wasn't allowed to play football with the boys anymore. The system back then excluded girls from playing mixed sport with boys from the age of 12. My high school didn't offer girls football. There were no local teams. So that was it. My dream died when I was 11, simply because I was a girl. And I didn't give up on football. I'd always played in fields, in parks, in the garden, and even in the house. Sorry, Mum. And eventually, I found football again 4 years later when I was 15. A new team had been created to represent the whole of Worcestershire. And this time, it was led by a female coach. And I captained that team for 2 years, and the coach helped me join Wolverhampton Wanderers Women. And I played there for over 7 years. Can you imagine the lessons, the skills, the experiences, the connections that I learned and benefited from during that time? But can you also imagine where my football career might have gone had I not been forced to stop playing football for 4 years? At a key stage in my development, the door was slammed shut in front of me. My opportunities to progress taken away from me simply because of my gender. I remember my dad telling me once, after a primary school game, that there was a Coventry City scout watching the game. And he told my dad that if Nicole was a boy, he would sign her for the Coventry City Academy. If Nicole was a boy. That female coach that I mentioned, she used her position of power and leadership to create an opportunity for me. And I'll be eternally grateful to her. And I've ever since always tried to do the same for others, now that I'm in a position of leadership. Now, the good news is we have moved on considerably since I was young. Investment into the top level of the game has resulted in sustained success for our national team, the brilliant double-winning European champions, the Lionesses. And the increase in visibility of female players and a pro league, the WFL, has meant that more girls dare to dream on the pitch. But what does this look like off the pitch? In boardrooms? What do the people in power in football look like? When I was young, I never saw women working in football. As far as I knew, top-level football was owned by men, ran by men, for men. And over 100 years ago, the English FA made a decision in which women had no say about women's access to football. They banned women for 50 years, just at a time when the game was growing in momentum. And even when the ban was lifted in 1971, there was no investment put into the game. The investment we've seen has only been relatively recent, but look at what investment can achieve. And even now, the people in power in football are heavily skewed towards males. Recent research from the University of Liverpool shows that 8.1% of Premier League club directors are women. Only 8.1%. What message is that giving to our girls and boys about women's place in football? So what does this mean? Why am I telling you this? Well, yes, there is progress, but it's too slow. The world is not on track to meet gender equality by 2030. That is one of our UN Sustainable Development Goals. And according to UN statistics, at the current rate of change, it will take us 140 years to achieve equal representation in leadership in the workplace. 140 years. Just think about that for a moment. Think about what that means for your mothers, your sisters, your partners, your daughters, your granddaughters, and the impact that fact has on their life. To make change, we have to take action. We can't just keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Because I refuse to wait 140 years, and so should you. Football is my vehicle for change. And I truly believe that football can help us tackle some of the world's greatest challenges. But to grow women's football, we can't copy men's football. Why would we want to? Surely that would mean we are just dependent
on men's team. Surely that just means we're dependent on the benevolent just to survive.
Remember that dream I told you about when I was 11, the dream that died? Well, in 2021, I dared to dream again. This time it was a different dream, a dream that was much more powerful. I became the owner of my own football club, Worcester City Women FC. We are independent, dedicated to women and girls, and we are on a mission to bring professional football to this brilliant city of Worcester. And by being independent, we are free to make the long-term decisions that put women and girls first. Not as an afterthought, not as a tick box. We don't have to ask permission. We are proudly charting our own course. And we've already made a great impact across the city, competing in the SA Women's National League, which for context is only 2 promotions away from a professional league. And through our partner organisation, Worcester City Women in the Community, we run fun football sessions for people to get moving, feeling more connected and feeling healthier. We are gender diverse. From our board, to our coaches, to our voluntary off-pitch staff. Togetherness is our superpower. And our attendance and fan base has grown over 500% since year 1. And we attract different generations of fans, boys, girls, mums, dads, aunties, uncles, grandparents, extended families. And you may have clocked it, even penguins. And you may be thinking, what on earth is there a giant penguin at Worcester City Women matches? Well, let me introduce to you our much-loved penguin mascot, Pablo the penguin. And penguin might not seem the most obvious choice to be a mascot for a club in a city that couldn't be much further from the sea. But I'll tell you what penguins do represent. They represent strength and resilience. They thrive and adapt in extreme hostile environments. They represent community and belonging. They huddle together to survive harsh conditions. Teamwork is their superpower. And they represent female leadership and empowerment. Once the egg is laid, it's the female penguin that goes off to source food across vast, dangerous oceans, whilst the male penguin stays on the ice and incubates the egg. And when the female penguin returns, they take it in turns, working as a team. The penguin is unique. Few species rely so clearly on a female-led survival phase. So now can you see why a penguin is a great mascot for an independent, female-owned women's football club? Research shows us that boys start to believe girls don't belong in sport as early as 5 years old. Girls start to believe it too. My message to the future generation of girls is dare to dream and is dare to do. So today, I don't just stand here as that little girl who just wanted a ball at her feet. I stand here as someone using her influence to help grow women's sport sustainably for the long term. Because belief without structure is fragile. Girls don't just need opportunities, they need systems that are built to last. And when I couldn't access a system, I learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just build a new one. Every girl's dream is fragile. Not because she is weak, but because opportunities and structures still are. and we all get to decide. Will you be the person that quietly lets her dream fade? Or will you be the person that helps build something stronger so that it will grow? Thank you for listening.